Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to WWE Smackdown Live, June 20th, 2017. Excuse me, let me repeat that back. It's Smackdown Live 2017, June 20th review. And ladies and gentlemen, just to say this, finally, I have something a little bit positive to say about the damn WWE television programming for tonight's show. It did have some good points. It had some crappy ones. It wasn't the greatest, but at least we didn't get the Fashion Police. Holy shit, that would have really sucked. The Fashion Police suck, and so does Breezango of the Tyler Breeze and Fandango show. So, we started off with Carmella and James Ellspuke. And I have to say, this segment here, where she explains herself to why she did what she did, it was fantastic. She had legit heat. I think it was the most fantastic job by any female performer this year or last year since this WWE Revolution bullshit has started. Quite honestly, I am very impressed with Carmella after tonight. This was definitely one of her best promos I have ever seen her in. She was very serious and sincere about a lot of things that she was saying. She said, "Who cares? The match had no disqualifications, and how can you break any rules when there is no rules to begin with?" Which is actually very true. How can you? Well, I mean, with it being a groundbreaking match, and James Ellsworth not actually being in the match as an actual participant, it brings the value of the match completely down and absolutely completely blows. So, that being what it is, it led on to the end result later on during that night, which I will later explain in this review. But she did an outstanding job with her commentary of what she did, her explanation for why she did what she did, and it was just fantastic. James Ellsworth, he needs to go. This guy really needs to go. He is annoying, he's fucking dumb as hell, and he's shit. And quite honestly, I think it's absolutely fucking retarded why he's even there to begin with. Carmella don't need him. And Carmella should, I'll talk about that later. A very good segment on Carmella's part. So I really enjoyed that. We go backstage. We also go backstage, and Brian is talked to by Charlotte, and she states that, hey, this is wrong. Why isn't this being made? Done this correctly and put the wrong to the right here in this situation. So that's pretty much what she had to say during this segment, pretty much overall. Later on during the show, we're going to have Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke Nakamura, which I'll get into. Luke Harper versus the WWE Champion Jinder Mahal. But coming up, the first match of the show was Big E versus Jimmy Uso. This match was actually rather good. It was as good as a tag team match, maybe a little bit close to it. The ending, at least, there was an ending with this match. Big E wins by big ending and gets the 1, 2, 3. Jimmy and Jay try to do the same thing they did last during the pay-per-view. This time they are stopped by Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. So that's pretty much how that whole situation went. The match itself was pretty average at best. I give it a 3 out of 5 stars to be very generous. So throughout this whole show, though, we get all the participants involved talking about this women's ladder match. This show really revolved around the women controversy that happened at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view for the ladder match. So that pretty much in itself was the overall thing, overall theme of SmackDown Live today. So I mean, it was a little overkill, but they all had a right to pretty much explain their reasoning why they feel this is wrong and why it needs to be changed and whatnot. So yeah. Naomi, she gets an interview and then later is talked to by Lana and wants a rematch for the women's championship, which she grants her again. Number one, where does Naomi get the right to actually officially state that a match is going to occur on a fucking show? Or pay-per-view for that matter? This woman seems like she's booking her own matches as if she's the booker of fucking SmackDown Live. Like, somebody please explain to me, is she not also a performer, but also a scheduler for matches? She books the matches too? Like, what is she, a promoter slash wrestler? What the fuck is this shit? I mean, she's giving Lana another rematch when she's already beaten her, and now she's going to give her another one next week on Smackdown. Makes tons of sense. Yeah, sure. And I have a 10-inch piece, and I'm worth $1 million. Yeah. So, whatever. We later had an interview with Tom Phillips and Randy Orton. Randy Orton pretty much said explicitly that he messed up. He is the one that cost himself to lose the match and not win the World Championship from Jinder Mahal. His attitude really at this point is, I'm not worried about the title. You have made this very personal. This was about a world title. Now, with your little crones touching my father and being very vicious to him, I'm going to have to hurt you really fucking bad, including your little two douchebags that follow you around everywhere. Well, there's one small problem here. Where is there fucking consistency here? Because if I remember correctly, we had Randy Orton attacking John Cena's father, beating the hell out of him. He attacked Vince McMahon's entire family with Legacy, beat the hell out of them. He fucking punted Vince McMahon's head off, who was at the time in his late 60s, early 70s. He RKO'd his Triple H's wife and then kissed her on the face while handcuffing Triple H to the ropes during all this time in 2009. And beat the hell out of Shane McMahon in multiple different occasions. Like, you think this is karma biting Randy Orton in the ass. You'd think that they'd have Jinder Mahal say something about that kind of issue. Of course, WWE being WWE, they don't happen to mention that. But Randy Orton did a very good promo with Tom Phillips expressing his deep thoughts about how fucking pissed off he is about what Jinder Mahal did with his father and how he disrespected his family. And his attitude is, why don't I go to India and do disrespectful things to his family and hurt them? Well, hey, what can I tell you? Karma is a bitch. And apparently karma is biting Randy Orton in the ass very badly. But nonetheless, I did enjoy the promo that he did with Tom Phillips. I hope he does get his revenge and kicks Jinder Mahal's ass. Forget about the title. I think he needs to stop worrying about the title and just be in a rivalry with them until they decide to cut off the whole thing with Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal and have John Cena be the next one in line to face him. Alright, next match. Dolph Ziggler, Nakamura. Pretty self-explanatory. Same old shit. Nothing too important happened during this match. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. I'd give it a 3 out of 5 stars. So decent in itself. So nothing bad there. There was some good action that happened here. Shinsuke Nakamura did his finishing maneuver and got the win. But I don't particularly like the idea of them doing Shinsuke Nakamura on television every single night. I think they need to make him as if he's like Brock Lesnar. Have him appear once in a while on the show, maybe once a week, just to do promos, no in-ring action, to help promote matches, and that's about it. Because having him in a match every single night is not exactly a great idea to produce him as this enigma or phenomenon that he is supposed to be. Brian later talks to Becky Lynch. She sounds very distraught by the situation with the Carmella situation with the briefcase, and she really has gotten to the point where what has she got to do the right thing, do it the right way, earn it the right way, and go ahead and accomplish something. Her attitude is every time she feels like she's getting close to accomplishing something the right way, the way she should, she gets somebody in front of her, cutting in front of her, backstabbing her in some way, shape, or form. It's as if they're kind of hinting that they're leaning towards her changing to a heel at some point. This Money in the Bank ladder match that's going to be coming up again in a rematch. Sorry I gave away the result, but I'll discuss a little more on that. But I do believe when they do have a rematch, the end result of the segment with the Money in the Bank briefcase for the females was they're going to have a rematch next week on Smackdown for the Money in the Bank briefcase. I do believe that the end result of this match for next week is definitely going to tell us where her story is going to go to. Is she's going to stay face or she's going to go heel? So keep an eye out for that definitely, because I think that might be a very important key factor in what happens in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Because I'm pretty sure something will happen to Becky Lynch once again to where she's getting close to it and she's going to end up getting screwed again, which will lead her to becoming a heel, I believe. So we also have Kevin Owens. He has a United States Championship match, trying to do a John Cena impersonation. Not so good as John Cena, Kevin. Just to let you know, you fucking look pathetic tonight. While you tried to act as if you were John Cena with the open challenge, playing a heel douche with no balls. Basically. So, really what happened here is Kevin Owens gets a opportunity, or Kevin Owens defends his United States Championship against Chad Gable, who apparently claims that he just moved to Dayton, Ohio, gave an address to a location in Dayton, Ohio, which was a fucking college, and JBL stated, unless he's living there as a student in the dorm, he ain't living there. So it was kind of awkward, very weird. But Chad Gable got a title match against Kevin Owens at the last minute. AJ Styles was trying to cash in on this open challenge, but Kevin Owens kept changing his story every second. Somebody else came through the door to, offer to do the challenge against Kevin Owens. So this match was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Decent match overall. Kevin Owens, though, retains the championship. Then we got Daniel Bryan backstage just with a small segment with Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley, and they're pretty much stating their own uh, right to being number one contenders for the tag team titles against the Usos, since they originally won the number one contendership, but ended up having Zack Ryder get injured with a shoulder injury. So they're pretty much at the point where they're stating, "Hey, we won the number one contenders match with the Battle Royal over the top rope challenge, but we just happen to have this injury. Why don't we just have number one contendership since we did officially win a number one contenders match?" Which, in retrospect, they do deserve a shot for the tag team titles. So I don't see why they don't put that on SmackDown. Have the women's championship match, the tag team title match, and the women's Money in the Bank ladder match for a SmackDown episode. Three solid, matches that you could put on a pay-per-view anyway, and do that. I think that would be a very smart idea on WWE's part to make SmackDown a very entertaining show next week and give us kind of a quality pay-per-view kind of quality show that we do deserve in comparison to what we got at Money in the Bank. That's all I can say on that. Later on, we get the segment with Daniel Bryan, the rest of the women's division on SmackDown. Daniel Bryan does make the decision to make the women's briefcase, Money in the Bank briefcase ladder match restarted basically and redo the match over again on SmackDown. I honestly don't agree with the idea of them doing a ladder match again because they could have just done that and left no bullshit involved on the pay-per-view. It would have been a little bit more neat to do it that way. It would have been better and more enjoyable to watch that instead of watching them redo it again. I think they should have just had Carmella stay as the Money in the Bank winner and have her defend that Money in the Bank briefcase against any opponent and have a fatal four-way match to determine the number one contender to face against Carmella one-on-one at the next episode of SmackDown. I think that's really how they should do it, but I stated earlier today when I did the review on Money in the Bank that they would have a ladder match. If you haven't checked that video out, I'd definitely recommend it. I did give a good rant on it and stated my own personal opinions and how I thought this pay-per-view sucked balls. That's basically it. I do believe Carmella will walk away, though, still the Money in the Bank winner. I think after all this, they will have Carmella stay as the Money in the Bank briefcase winner because she has got legitimate heat. She is a fucking all-out heel on SmackDown and is doing fantastic in just 2 days of getting a fucking screw job finish, and people hate her guts for it. And you would think that this was done purposely out of the fact to make Carmella into a super heel. Looking in current point, during that whole point, you would think that that was a bad idea. I am starting to believe it was a great idea. Because at the end of the day, what the end result you got from tonight is Carmella getting a top heel reaction, legit reaction, from the fans. They can't stomach her. They really hate her guts. They think that she's a prick and a loser to want to accept a Money in the Bank briefcase the way she did. And I think it's awesome. I mean, I don't like how the very first women's Money in the Bank ladder match went, but if you look at this episode, you can understand why they did what they did at Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Even though, yes, in retrospect, at the point being, it looks crappy, but at the end of the day, when you look at this episode, like I just said, it explains everything. And and she put on a great performance. It worked, and I believe she will still be the Money in the Bank winner at the end of the show on SmackDown next week. Can bank on that. Guaranteed. And then the last match was Jinder Mahal going one-on-one against Luke Harper. Nothing big here. Give it a 2 out of 5 stars. It wasn't that big of a match. He wins by same fucking fashion. The two douchebags he's got with him interfered in the match, distracted Luke Harper. He gets finished off with Jinder Mahal's finisher. And Randy Orton later on after that came out on the show, attacked Jinder Mahal's cronies and tried to attack him. Got some good shots on him. RKO'd both of them. And there was a botch move by one of the cronies of Jinder Mahal. And he got RKO'd from the second rope, but moved it in too close to Randy Orton. And it looked like a Stone Cold Stunner, only it was botched and fucked up. And it looked really bad on one of the douchebags that got the RKO from the middle top rope. But anyway, the show wasn't bad. I give it an average show, maybe like a C, C+. It wasn't horrible to watch. It was definitely well worth 2 hours at least. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Leave your comments and opinions down below as well. Let me know what you guys thought of this pay-per-view. Or, not pay-per-view, excuse me. This episode of Smackdown. And I will definitely get back to you guys. As well as leave your, hit that like button as well. And hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber to this channel. Thank you very much for watching, guys. You have a great night.